about myself, I'm actually a software engineer. So my first master's degree is in software engineering, and I turned HR professional. I studied software engineering for my parents. And then back then in the 80s, my parents were telling me IT is the way to go. So I studied that for them. And after becoming a software engineer, then I realized my passion is not so much in passionate by choice. After which I went into I joined various organizations. I was a part of American companies. I was a part of a European company. I was a part of the Singapore government organization. And then after that, I came out and started out on my own. And currently, I'm actually a adjunct facilitator with Aventis. Weekday, I'm a HR consultant, career coach, and a facilitator. And weekend, I'm actually a wedding solemnizer. And I spend my time with my family and my loved ones. So how do you feel when you don't see your teammates in the office, cannot meet them face to face? You all want to take turns to unmute yourself and then tell us how you feel?
For me, I don't see a big issue because even for our company, we are also doing this. We don't use Zoom, but we use these Blue Jeans. So we get to see each other probably like once every 2 weeks. So, and
Nice.
for my work, even though it's a circuit breaker, it's still quite overwhelming because I got to address to many, staff's questions. My Malaysian colleagues who needs to make a decision to go back to Malaysia or not. So yeah, in fact, circuit breaker for me, I'm more tied up. So don't have much time to think about, I can't see my mate and then, how do I feel? But generally not much of a difference to me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much, Wendy. How about Fu? You can choose to unmute yourself and share with us, or you want to type in the chat also can. Okay, never mind. Maybe he's busy. So you realize that what is one thing that you enjoy during this circuit breaker time? Fu, you want to start first? Oh, very good. Vinny says family time. Definitely. How about Wendy?
For me, I think I save time taking public transport to and fro. So that time actually I made use like, for example, one day after like 6 p.m., immediately I can go into my own exercise. So that is not what I used to do last time when I need to commute to and fro office and home.
Yes.
So I think I enjoy this very much.
Yes, the time saved for commuting. So we use that as what Wendy said, she used it for exercise. And then Fule? You can type in the chat, no?
Sorry, I'm busy at the moment. I'm doing.
Okay, never mind. You want to share one thing that you're really never mind. Since you're busy, it's all right. So Okay, what I enjoy is also not only family time, but I enjoy the extra time that I have. I don't need to commute anymore to the office, so I make use of the time to do all the things that I have never done for a very, very long time, like finish reading a book or something. So I actually caught up on a lot of my reading during this period of time.
Yeah, that's right. Making use of this time to do a bit of read up, enrich our knowledge. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much, Fu. And what is one challenge that you face when working from home?
I suppose you can't meet others. So in terms of presentation, in terms of slide materials, it may not be as clear as we are in the meeting room, but
Yes.
nevertheless, it's still it's a good platform to meet up and speed up all the approval process before we start work after 1st June.
Yes. So really face-to-face is always the best. Whereas using technology, using some kind of media, presenting an idea, presenting a concept, and trying to influence your teammates over Zoom, Skype, or whatever can be a little bit more challenging. Thank you very much, Fu. And Vinny says finding time for everyone to be comfortable to be online for team meetings. Wow. Yes, especially if your teams are across different time zones, then it is really a challenge trying to find that time where all of us can be online at the same time. Thank you, Vinny. How about Wendy?
Not so much of a challenge, but at times, because I report to my manager, and then also, the next in line is CEO. So CEO sometimes is probably a bit less trusting. So they'll be thinking like, okay, probably our staff lazing around, at home. So in order to better show so-called the results, because for my roles sometimes it's not like every report goes to her, so probably she only sees that one little part that I'm submitting to her. Then the rest, there are so many nitty-gritties that requires lots of time. So a little feeling that kind of challenge, how to make CEO trust us more, knowing that actually we are not lazing around.
Yes, indeed. So because you're working from home, some of us will actually end up working a lot more, wanting to impress on our bosses that we are still able to produce the results, expected. But again, in their minds, they could be thinking we are skiving, we are sleeping in, we are resting. So Wendy, thank you very much for highlighting. Indeed, trust is one thing very important to build in our bosses. And I'm very fortunate that one of my earlier days organization that I work for is IBM. So in IBM, we are one of the first few companies that started allowing all our staff to work from home, to work from other locations, and to work from also our own office. So as a result, in IBM, all staff do not have a dedicated workstation. So we are all given an IBM notebook, and when you come into the office to log in, you can actually check into any empty workstations available. So that is the concept of telecommuting introduced very, very long ago. So, and nowadays the organizations are starting to realize with COVID, maybe the office space is not required anymore. All of us can effectively work from home. And in the actual program, I will share with all the participants how you can build trust very quickly within a short period of time. This is a proven methodology used. Yeah. So that will surely answer Wendy's question or concern about building trust in the, whether be it CEO or if you manage a team, how do you build trust in the people under you? Okay, thank you very much. We are seeing more and more participants coming in. So welcome all of you to this program. And so generally don't have to answer this question. I hope that from the short discussion just now that we had, you realize that working from home, you can choose to be happy or you can choose to be unhappy. All right, so how to make yourself happier? I have a few suggestions coming up. Number one is to keep, we are all humans, and humans are habitual creatures. We are creatures of habit. So whatever you have been doing before circuit breaker, and you should keep doing now so that you don't feel so much of a change. Whenever there is a change happening to us, we will be jolted. We will be actually feeling a little bit uncomfortable. So we try to keep our routine the same. And what do I mean by that? Early morning, what time do you wake up? At night, what time do you sleep? Then try to keep that routine constant, because sleeping pattern is very important. One way you can also tell is if you go on an overseas trip with a different time zone. I used to have to travel to the US. I used to have to travel to Europe for my meetings. And whenever I go to the headquarters for my meeting, then when I come back, I realize I'm actually more tired than I was before. And that's why a lot of us will feel more tired after going on a holiday, because we try to shorten our sleeping time and try to maximize our time in that country, because we pay so much money to be able to see that country. So we don't want to waste time in quotes, sleeping in the hotel room. So when we come back from a holiday, sometimes we feel a lot more tired. So by keeping your body in wellness, by looking after your own wellness, is one of the way is to keep the cycle, the clock in your body constant. So have the fixed time, and then when you wake up, then you have some exercise time. Some of us prefer to exercise in the morning. Some of us prefer in the evening. So try to get up, do some exercise, move away from your computer. This is also very helpful to you. And whenever you exercise, your body actually produces endorphin, a hormone that will make you feel happy. All right, so I strongly encourage all of you to exercise. If let's say because of health reason, because of injury, you cannot do strenuous exercise, then just do simple walking. All right, that will be good enough. Walk long distance in the evenings, in the afternoon, in the morning. Try and walk around your estate where you actually stay, and that will be good enough for your body. And lastly, work. Find a job, find work that makes a meaning to yourself, which is something you enjoy doing. You feel that you are contributing. You feel that that is your passion. You feel that that is your interest. And if you do work around that area, you will be a lot happier. All right, that's the thing about Singaporeans. I hope to slowly change our behavior. last time on a Monday morning, a lot of people in the CBD area, you see their heads actually drooping, they are feeling sad, they have to go back to work because it is Monday, they have no choice because we are the most expensive city to live in. But then when comes Friday, you see all the smiling faces crossing the roads and all those. It should not be the case. All right, so we should actually find purpose and meaning in the work that we do so that we are enjoying it a lot more. All right, the next thing I want to suggest is for us to change our mindset during the circuit breaker time. How we change our mindset, number one is to continue to build on 4 Qs. And these 4 Qs are IQ, EQ, AQ, and CQ. IQ is intelligence, we all know. And as we build on IQ, how do we go about doing that? Is you continue to read more. And that's why during this period of time, circuit breaker, all of us stay at home or work from home. You have a lot more time saved from commuting to work. So as a result, you can finish reading some of the books that you haven't finished yet. And I know for a fact is that Fu and myself have been doing that. All right. So EQ is emotional intelligence. EQ is where you build on your thinking process. All right. So in life, everything, there are 2 sides of it. When something happens like a circuit breaker, some people feel really controlled. They feel very stifled. Some experience what we call cabin fever. All right, and there's the other side of it, which is I hear some of you say earlier at the beginning of our webinar, is that some of you are happy because you get a chance to spend more time at home. Some of you are happy you don't need to spend time traveling to and from work. So some of you also, so this is where you see the positive. All right, everything that happened to us, we always must think of the positive side of it. And it's not easy because human nature is that all of us are impatient. Sometimes all of us want to work very hard to prove to our bosses that we can do it, even during this time. So as a result, it brings me to the third point where we set very high expectations of ourselves and on the work that we can deliver. So when your expectations are too high and you cannot achieve them, you get disappointed. So a lot of things has to do with our mindset and our self-expectations. So don't be too hard on yourself during this period of time. Have good time management, and we should be able to deliver the results required. And also, these managers, if you are managing your team, then you should also lower your expectations because all of them are trying very hard also to achieve the results that you require. All right, AQ and CQ I will cover during the actual program itself. So I encourage you all to sign up for our program, which I will share with you how you can do that towards the end of at the end of the webinar. Another important thing that you should have is also me time. What is me time? Time you take to think and do nothing. All right, and last time, early morning, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, I will be in the office. And that time is actually put aside as me time. Me time meaning I will reflect on what happened yesterday, what are the achievements that I've achieved, and what are the to-dos. So between 6 and 8 is when I will craft out all the to-dos for today. All right. not only doing that, but I will also put them into metrics where urgent, important, whether is it not urgent, not important, and whether is it very important and urgent. And then of course the other two quadrants is either urgent and not important, or very important and not urgent. So with all these task lists inside my time management graph, I will be able to start the day at 8 a.m. doing things very productively until the end of the day at about 5 or 6. So me time is a time that all of us should consider investing in, so that the rest of the day will be spent more productively, and it will increase your chances of being successful. I also want to encourage you all to use the COPE learning cycle. What is this COPE learning cycle? Is you have to try a new thing that you have never done before. And then after that, you reflect on it, and then you refine on the process or the way you do it, or the timing you took to complete the task, and then you try and do it again. So this is a very effective cycle that all of us should consider doing. All right, so having shared so much, it's now time to put into practical. I actually don't quite like theory, but theory is inevitable in a webinar. So what would you like to try for yourself to make yourself more happy coming up? You all can unmute yourself and share, or you can type into the chat, and then anyone? Ramasamy, thank you for joining us. You want to share with us some? Hi, Ramasamy, you want to share with us one thing that you will try after today's webinar?
Okay, now, so far, okay, no share anything. Okay, thanks.
All right, good. So Ramasamy say he's working, no sharing. Okay, Vinny? Vinny always type in the chat one. What is one thing you would try? Something new. Actually, anything you all say also, it will be correct one. Because that is your own, very good. Vinny says she wants to practice early sleeping, yeah, going to bed early. And that's very important. You all want to guess what time I go to bed? Wendy?
10.
10. Okay, good guess. I actually go to bed at 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8 o'clock at night, I will go to bed, and then I'll wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, that is my sleeping cycle since I had my daughter. When she was a baby. So my wife and myself used to pretend to sleep at 8 o'clock at night.
So it's pretend.
Yeah, it's pretend. But then for me, pretending become a reality. So from then on, my sleeping pattern has been changed already. So for adults, we only need 8 hours, ma. We don't need 12 hours. So very good. Thank you, Vinny. Fu may be busy. So Wendy, since you already unmuted, so what would you try after to this webinar?
So far, I'm very happy. There's not much that I think I need to do to make myself happier.
Good.
But I guess it's really, yeah. So now sometimes kind of doing work exceeding the so-called office hours. So maybe is to really be more disciplined, like what you mentioned just now, to tell myself really cut it off. Yeah. And then possibly to better polish up my cooking skills. I think this is also the best time. Yeah, I've been trying, but due to also the time that I'm, investing too much on work, resulting in quite limited time that I'm doing, things to polish up certain skills that I have, like personal skills.
Okay, good. So take this opportunity to polish up on your cooking skills, baking skills. A lot of Singaporeans have also took up to exercising, and a lot of them are now practicing for the marathon coming up. More runners I see in the park. The baking products all of the NTUC and whatever, are always empty. Everybody is snatching all the baking products. No flour, nothing can be found. So everybody is trying to cook more healthy meals and become a baker, become a chef at home. So this is another very useful skill to pick up during this time. So thank you very much, Wendy, for sharing. And the last point before we end this module is to be grateful for whatever we have. And I think for Wendy, for example, that started off by sharing, I'm happy that during this circuit breaker time, it actually goes to show that she's also grateful that she still has a job. And I'm sure the rest of us are also grateful because in the society, in the world out there today, a lot of companies are finding it very difficult to survive. So even our own national carrier actually is not doing well for the first time in so many years. So some people will be losing their job, and so all of us in our situation must learn to be grateful for whatever positive that we have. Okay, now we talk about building relationships. Virtual teams is actually because I have been working virtually for many years. So as what Harvard explained, virtual teams are actually a collection of strangers. That's all. There is actually no social bond, or in some cases, people fly everybody in a virtual team to meet at one location once a year. All right, so as a result, we all only get to meet one time every year. So this has a very little bonding. All right, so in this case, right, why is it not good? Because of this saying, out of sight can very quickly become out of mind. All right, and you don't want your bosses to have that happen to you because you don't see him or her, then you become out of his or her mind. All right, we don't want that to happen. So building relationships virtually is very important, and we have to identify some way to build the bond. And human nature, being socially connected, is one of our basic needs. All right, if you recall the Maslow's hierarchy of need, one of the need is actually the belonging or the social bonding that you have, whether be it with your company, whether be it in your circle of friends, or be it also in the country. All right, so all this actually is, we are talking about human needs. One way to build relationship, whether be it with your supervisor, with your manager, or with your team, is to share more about yourself. All right. Gandhi once said, to shake the hand of the other person, you must first be able to open up your own hand. Then only you can shake the hand of the other person. So sharing about yourself, sometimes it makes us a little bit uncomfortable, especially if you're a lady. You tend to be more careful about sharing too much personal information about yourself. So I will encourage you all to start by sharing with your managers information about yourself, your family, so that they get to know you deeper. All right. And also yourself also as a result of sharing, also genuinely find out more about your bosses. All right. Do you know your manager's birthday? For example, do you know your manager's likes and dislikes when it comes to food? Do you know his or her family members? Yeah, are they married? Are they not married? What are their hobbies? What do they like doing their free time and all this? So as you deepen the relationship, then you will realize that the trust also increases. All right, share about your latest happening in the country with your teams in other countries, and learn about also their practices in the country, their processes. Maybe both of you are in the same organization, but country-specific practices can be very different. And we can continue to also learn from them. Yeah. More tips I would like to share with you all. Because out of sight means out of mind. So we must stay connected even during these times. Check in frequently with my teams. I actually have once a week meeting with everybody to share about what are the latest initiatives that my organization have. And also when we connect, you must also show that you respect the individual differences, because all of us are born differently. All of us have got different upbringing. We have different background. So as a result, you need to respect them for the individual differences. Once a week, every Friday at 5 o'clock, we will have an informal conversation with the whole organization. So everybody will log on to Zoom, and then we can talk about everything except work. We will talk about all kinds of topics like where you are right now, what is the weekend plans right now. I put in the weather, it's just as an example, because some parts in Singapore, we realize in one of our weekend check, in our chat group recently, it is very stormy, but in this part of town where I stay, it is very sunny. So weather also can become an interesting topic that we can talk about. Share your work style in terms of, this is during office days, not during the Friday 5 o'clock chit chat session. So in the other official chit chat session, then you share about your work style, continually provide feedback. And also another thing that I have, another tip that I will offer to all of you is we will cover in our webinar we will cover in the actual workshop itself how you provide feedback to colleagues. All of you, when you manage your teams, you have to provide feedback. So how do you do it virtually? Then we will cover that during the actual workshop itself. And after using my feedback technique, then you realize, okay, your staff happiness level will become better, will become higher. Okay, so I encourage you all to sign up for the actual program where I will share with you my little secret, my personal tip on how I used to provide appraisal feedback, performance feedback, so that staff at the end of the session all feel that I am the best boss so far that they have. All right, so I would like to share that idea with you all, and also other ideas on building rapport, deepening trust, and you will get a more cohesive team moving forward. All of us have information from time to time from headquarters, and based on your job function, you will also be privy to certain information which is exclusive. All right, so when it's time to communicate all this information to your team members, make sure you share with all team members at the same time. All right, so do not show favoritism. Do not privately share with one team member and not share with the second team member. Also yourself, you must continually be the role model. Especially nowadays when we organize official Zoom meetings, I expect everybody to be on time for all the meetings. So for myself, I will make sure at least 5 minutes before I will be inside Zoom ready already. All right. And how do you do that? Sometimes you have got technical problems. That's why 15 minutes before, I will always go in and make sure the system is working fine. And last one, R&R. How can R&R build relationship? What is R&R? Anybody want to try? How? Anyone want to try? What is R&R? Any guys here? We are very familiar with R&R, right? Those of us who have served the army before. So for the ladies, R&R means rest and relax. After an overseas exercise, we always have a few days for us to be able to just rest and relax before coming back to Singapore. That's what really happened. But R&R here doesn't mean rest and relax. Wendy, being a HR professional, will probably tell me roles and responsibilities. Anyone want to try? You can just unmute yourself and share, or you can go into the chat. Oh, I see somebody typing into the chat. Rest and recuperation. Thank you, Vinny. Yeah, but it will not build relationship. You can think along the lines of building relationship with your subordinates, or with your teammates, or with your bosses. So this R&R is very important. But thank you for trying anyway. Wendy, you want to try? No, okay, never mind. So no idea. I can see from your facial expression. So R&R is actually recognition and rewards. All right, all the time you must recognize your team members, you must reward them, and that's how you can better manage, better build relationship. And also the same it works upwards. You must also recognize your bosses or your managers taking care of you. You must also thank them for giving you frank feedback. You must also recognize and be grateful for all the tips that they have been offering you. All right, so R&R is very important to build better relationships at the workplace. And after doing all this, then you all will be a lot more happier as a person. All right, so I have come to the end of my webinar already. I want to thank all of you for your participation and also thank Aventis for putting this together and helping me in the background. She's the pretty girl you see in the picture called Carmen. All right, so I want to introduce a little bit about Aventis Learning Group to all of you. Who we are actually established since 2008. So until today, it's 2020 already. We have been around for more than 10 years. All right, it's an award-winning corporate training provider. And this is not what we say one, it's actually being assessed by a neutral third party called TED. All right, so we have the award consistently for 2 years, 2018, 2019, and very likely 2020 also. Okay, so we offer an exciting suite of over 200 seminars and courses and customized workshops annually. And right now you realize that we are one of the few companies that have been rolling out webinars free for all during the circuit breaker period, to give you all an opportunity to learn more, to find out more about this company. And to us, our tagline is really, learning can be fun. All right, so everybody always enjoy all our classroom programs. Although on the web, across the technology, there could be some restrictions, but we still make it as fun as we can. All right, so we will be using a lot of tools during the actual workshop itself, tools like Kahoot, tools like there are some voting buttons, there are some many ways of interacting with all of you across different mediums. Okay, so one of the programs that I do under our human capital management and psychology classification is best practices to manage telecommuting and working from home. So what are the topics that I will cover? I will share with all of you about communicating effectively, which I didn't have a chance to do today. I chose building relationships because in Singapore and we are in Asia, relationships are especially important. So I want to take the opportunity of this free webinar to share something very critical and build a very solid foundation for you all before you come for the actual program. Okay, so also be able to communicate effectively. How do you show to the other party you are listening in a virtual environment? Especially because you cannot see the other person. If the other person don't turn on the camera, you all could be doing something else. Because Wendy turned on her camera, so I know she has been taking down notes and listening to me attentively. All right, so thank you, Wendy, for doing that. How do you deal with conflicts? Conflicts happen everywhere, whether in the family, whether at home, whether in the office, there will always be conflict. As long as two unique individuals come together, there will be conflict. All right, so how do you deal with conflicts in a virtual environment? And I told you, all right, I have a way to establish trust in a very short period of time. So this one will definitely answer some of your concerns on how you can build trust very quickly. And then how do you celebrate? How do you recognize each other? All right, which I gave you all some ideas already earlier, but it will be shared in deeper detail during the program. So you all can take a photo of this course. It will happen on the 16th of June from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. All right, so you see my colleague's name down there. You can get in touch with her, Carmen at aventistraining.com. Or if you would like to call her, also can at 9623-0281 or using QR code. All of us should be expert at using QR code scanner now because everywhere you go, you will have to scan in and scan out. All right, so we have never used QR code so quickly before. Okay, I'm deliberately staying on this slide for a while because I know Wendy is wanting to take a picture. So that's the advantage of turning on your camera. All right, so really appreciate that. Let me see, somebody is trying to chat. Is it possible to have the PowerPoint? Okay, that one, please check with Carmen. I don't have an issue lah, but let's see what's Aventis policy first. All right, and by the way, thank you so much for asking that question. Is it possible to have the PowerPoint? This whole YouTube will be, this whole webinar will be on the YouTube. All right, so you all as attendees will receive the YouTube link, I believe. All right, so Carmen will clarify, but then you'll be able to watch it again and again, basically. If you want to watch this webinar again 1 month later, 2 months later, I believe you still can. I'm not sure whether will there be an expiry or not, but I don't think so. Okay, so that is a good question. Thank you very much. And then the next program that I actually do is also parked under Human Capital Management and Psychology category. Is best practices to manage remote and virtual teams effectively. So if you are a manager and you want to be in a position to better manage virtually, then please sign up for this. Where I will tell you how to lead intentionally as a people manager, how you establish clear and inspiring shared goals or KPIs, and how do you coach virtually. As a coach myself, as a career coach, as a life coach myself, I would like to share with you all what I'm doing with my coachees. All right, and in circuit breaker time, we cannot meet up. So how do I still do coaching virtually? And lastly, how to resolve and manage conflicts, because as a manager of your team, they may turn to you for helping them resolve the conflict. All right, so this is the next program that I do. And here you are. It's going to happen on the 17th June. All right, from morning 9:30 to 12:30, same thing. You can, you can scan this QR code to actually get yourself registered or contact my colleague Carmen, which she also updated in the chat to everybody. We'll be sending out an email to all participants after this webinar with further details on the YouTube link to watch this again. Yay! She didn't mention anything about expiry. So it will probably stay there for quite a while. Okay, so we have, yes, that's all what I have. Awesome. So any questions, I'll be happy to take them. You can again unmute yourself and ask, or you can type into the chat and I'll be most happy to answer them. I hope you all enjoyed the seminar as much as I did, or webinar, we call this. Some useful information. I hope you all found. No? No questions? Oh, you're most welcome. Vinny said thank you for the information and the experience sharing. Yes, my pleasure. I love sharing. So, yes. But after attending any training program, my takeaway or biggest takeaway is always when I hear all of you, because you all become my friends, right? So when I hear you all coming back to me and tell me you found the approach, you found the methodology, you found the new idea, new way of doing things really helpful, and you have benefited. So it's in applying whatever you have learned. Yeah, it is very quickly forgotten if you just attend, listen, and then say, oh, okay, I know that already. And then 3 months later, you will have forgotten 70% of it. Reading materials for us to prepare for the seminar. Thank you for your question. Do you have any reading materials for us to prepare? I actually run a 2-day program. For 2 days program, I usually will have reading materials, but for this case, because it is talking about virtual environment, I don't have. Okay. So by attending the program itself in our different ways of discussion, so you will actually have a lot of learning from not only myself, from the materials that I have, not reading materials, the PowerPoint materials, and also from the sharing amongst the participants, you will have a tremendous amount of learning. Can I pronounce your name as Llewellyn? Okay. So if no more, oh, there's somebody else check. Okay. Good. Thank you very much to all of you. If you don't have any more questions for me, then Carmen, can we end the webinar here?